Hey friends, welcome back to the Guitar Max channel, and I have today what I think might be the most beautiful guitar you can get for the money, and it is this guitar right here from AIO. Now usually when I make a new AIO video, I'm talking about some new model or change they've done to their guitars, but this is one they've actually had for quite a while, and I've always been intrigued by this, and I've always wanted to check it out, and now I finally am. And this is, of course, the AIO WLP Abalone top guitar. Now I'm going to talk a lot about this guitar, of course, but throughout the video I'm going to give you a whole bunch of really nice close-ups of this top and of the work with the abalone because it is so intricate and so beautiful to look at. Now, to answer probably the first question right off the top here, no, this is not a graphic or a sticker or some kind of weird paint job or anything like that. This is actually many separate pieces of real abalone that's been used to create the top on this guitar. And of course, in addition to that, it has the abalone fretboard inlays, and even the same thing that they've done on the body, they've done up here on the headstock. And when you look at the close-ups, you can kind of see what's going on. They've got these pieces, almost like puzzle pieces, right? They're about maybe an inch square, each one approximately, and they're all shaped slightly differently to fit together to create this unique top. So yeah, I would argue this is probably one of the most beautiful, most eye-catching guitars you can get for the money. This is actually, as far as the production guitars go, this is the most expensive guitar that AIO sells. This one's like $699, right around $700. And what they've done is basically they took their standard WLP model, so it's a mahogany body, mahogany set neck, the Grover tuners, the bone nut, and then a standard LP control layout. They've taken that foundation of the guitar, and then on that they've placed this super intricate top and the fretboard binding and headstock and all that. So let's talk about abalone. What is abalone exactly? Well, it comes from a marine gastropod mollusk, but don't worry about that. It's basically like a clam or a mussel or an oyster that has a shell, and this particular type, on the inside of the shell, it creates this beautiful iridescent rainbow color pattern. And the key thing to understand about the abalone as it's used in guitars is it's just this interior layer of the shell that has that color pattern to it. So you get the raw material and then it is processed into usually sheets, right? And that's kind of how you get it when you work on it with guitars. And so going from that layer that comes from the inside of the shell to the processed sheet, it's a very thin material. So usually the way it's done on guitars, like with inlays for example, is you cut out the hole in the fretboard wood for the inlay, and then you fill the hole with resin, and then you place the thin abalone piece inside there, and then maybe a little more resin over the top, and you polish it and finish it and all that stuff. And so depending on how deep the hole is and how much resin there is, it kind of changes the brilliance of the abalone. So the ideal situation is you want the abalone material to be very close to the top, but not so close where it's sitting right on top. Because in those cases, if the fretboard gets damaged or worn down, then the actual piece of abalone can come out of the fretboard inlay and then just leave behind the resin that's filled in there. Now, all that being said, I can tell you that these inlays are done very well, and I can see that the abalone material is set down into the fretboard well enough where that's not a problem. And kind of the same thing on the body here. The abalone material is put on top of the body, and then the whole thing is sealed with a clear coat and then buffed to smooth it out and so forth. So you end up with this really beautiful high gloss finish, and you can see all of the brilliant iridescent colors from the abalone, but it still feels smooth and it's going to be well protected. Okay, so now let's get into the demo of this guitar. I'm going to go ahead and play through a few different tones and so forth. I'm going to use my Boss IR200 amp and cabinet simulator for this, and I'm going to do some kind of normal framing with the camera, and then I'll give you some nice close-ups while I'm playing so you can see the area, especially like right under your picking hand, how nice it looks in the different lighting angles and so forth. But guys, of course, real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, checking out cool, new, affordable guitars, please consider subscribing right now. Okay, now let's go ahead and plug this in and listen to how it sounds. Okay guys, no surprise there. This guitar plays and sounds fantastic. The AIO stuff always has this really extensive setup work done to it. Not just a basic out-of-the-box setup, but they do, fret polishing and leveling and really some, pretty intense setup work to make these guitars play just super smooth. This one's no exception. The fret ends on this guitar, these are done so well, it almost looks like the rounded ball end, like machine frets that are coming in on a lot of these import guitars, but these ones are done by hand, and they're just really, really super smooth. Of course, nice ebony fretboard on this guitar. Also, you might think that all this abalone material would make the guitar very heavy, but it really doesn't add much at all to the weight. I weighed this exact guitar and it was 8.3 pounds. So pretty standard for an LP single cut like this. And while I can't say there are any blemishes or anything like that, no, there's no issues with the finish or anything, I should mention that because of the way these things are done, you know, these little pieces are all done differently. Every guitar is going to be slightly different in how they apply the abalone pieces. For instance, on the outer pieces here, you can see a seam right there, and another one right here, and another one right here. You know, these sort of chunks that go around the outside of the body. Each one is maybe 4 to 5 inches long. But those are going to be, you know, where those seams are and where it all connects. That stuff is all going to differ slightly from one guitar to the next. Okay, guys, but what do you think about this guitar? Do you find it as beautiful as I do? Or maybe you think it's a bit too much, right? Sometimes people think abalone, even on like just the binding, not even the guitar top, but just the binding or the inlays. Some people think it's kind of gaudy, right? A little too flashy. I like flashy though. I like this a lot. And this, you know, it's a wonderful stage guitar because it plays and sounds great, but it also is going to get you a lot of attention when you're up there on stage. I'm just imagining, you know, playing all your favorite Santana tracks with this or something like that. It really captures the vibe. So let me know down in the comment section below. And guys, as usual, I'm going to have links for everything I was talking about in the video down in the video description below. I'll have a link for this guitar as well as the Boss IR200 unit that I was using for the demo, plus my YouTube online course, my social media, all that stuff, video description below. Okay guys, thanks a ton for watching. If you enjoyed the video, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you very soon.